Fear is something that every human being experiences, and don't tell me you can stride through life without ever getting terrified of anything, because I won't believe you. Thankfully, much like a Resident Evil save room, there are plenty of spaces you can feel 100% safe in. One of the most common examples of this is your very own residence. However, the horrors of the outside world can come knocking at your door, and sometimes they don't take no for an answer. I'm Si for WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 best home invasion horror video games. Number 10. Chaste. If video game pacing can be compared to vehicles, then this indie horror title is a Formula 1 racing car. In Chaste, you awake one night to discover that a strange stalker is trying to get into your house. You're tasked with keeping the intruder at bay and surviving the 5 nights. However, you soon learn that there isn't just one enemy, and each night comes with a shocking twist. This game does not let up, as the whole thing is an exercise in following precise prompts. You must rely on your senses and quick reflexes to complete a series of tasks and keep each of the enemies at bay, leading to a high-octane thrill ride that gives you very little room for error. This intensity does have a downside in that it might alienate players, as the game is incredibly tough. The intense speed and rising difficulty of each night make Chaste a thoroughly challenging experience, but those who are brave and skilled enough to tackle it will be rewarded with one hell of a frightening ride. Number 9. The Swine. If you happen to find the pig mask villain from the Saw franchise freaky, then you're going to require a regular change of pants for this one, as villainous pig-faced baddies will be coming at you, and they'll be coming hard. Not like that. The Swine is a short horror title developed by Vincent Lade. You play as someone trying to live a peaceful life in rural Southern America with their girlfriend, living in a lovely backwoods homestead. But your environment begins to change day by day as you are haunted by a mysterious cult known as the Swine. This is a tasty indie survival horror title that packs some big scares. The backwoods setting gives the game a firm rustic vibe, making you feel all the more unsafe as home security is essentially threadbare. Your ability to defend yourself against the unsavoury invaders feels entirely hopeless at times, and additionally there is a creepy focus on acts of the occult which gives the game a supernatural edge. Change of pants not included though. Number 8. After Midnight. When it comes to getting a horror video game just right, sometimes a nice spot of simplicity gets the job done. For this itch.io project, that mastery of the basics helps to sell it, as it focuses on a simple slasher narrative reminiscent of 90s horror movies. In After Midnight, you play as a young man named Brad. Unfortunately for this kid, he spends most nights in his house alone. This becomes a problem after he starts receiving taunting texts from a maniac who claims he will break in after midnight. Who'da thunk? This 616 Games title doesn't overindulge with big shocks or over-the-top villains. Instead, it's a tense and atmospheric horror short that plays with some terrifying realism. Everything you experience, despite the retro coat of paint, seems gritty and real, making the whole thing painfully believable. Another aspect of the game that makes it thrilling is the focus on choice. Your decisions will lead to one of 4 possible endings, only one of which sees you make it out alive. Number 7. Home Security. When it comes to home invasions, you want to make sure you keep your loved ones safe. This game plays into that, as the story focuses on a sister helping to defend her brother against an unpredictable entity. In this game, you play as a reclusive girl who hates spending time outside of her room. However, she is forced to step out of her comfort zone one evening as she must protect her traumatized brother from a terrifying creature that is trying to invade their home. You do so by boarding up windows and completing small tasks to keep the villain at bay. Part of what makes Home Security unique is how the gameplay helps to flesh out the world and characters. For example, as a recluse, it hurts your character to be outside of their room, therefore whenever you aren't in this safe space, your HP slowly decreases. There are a few other features that help put a flourish on this game, but the biggest highlight for fright seekers will likely be the terrifying antagonist. If you get caught by this monstrous little girl, then you're in for the fright of your life. Number 6. Intruders, Hide and Seek. The decision to have a stealth horror game set in first person is hardly original. In fact, it's pretty oversaturated in the year 2023. However, that is why Intruders Hide and Seek sought to go further by adding another couple of layers to that immersion and delving deeper into the horror of a home invasion. This game puts you in the shoes of a defenseless young boy Ben as he and his family go on vacation to their country home. However, the picturesque getaway is ruined after 3 invaders break into the house and take Ben's parents hostage. It's then up to the boy to save his family through stealth, exploration, and a lot of hiding. From that description, you can clearly tell that this game forces you into sheer vulnerability by having you play as a kid. This makes the villains all the more big and frightening as they feel like behemoths you need to conquer. Additionally, the game is optimized for VR play, adding yet another stone to the crushing weight of tension and fear that drives the title forwards. Number 5. Clean Suit. Clean Suit is a unique gaming experience to say the least. If you're looking for a horror title with the smooth gameplay of Dead Space or the graphical fidelity of Resident Evil Village, then you'll be barking up the wrong tree with this one. Still, regardless, it's a home invasion title that'll make you want to sleep with a nightlight on. Like almost every game on this list, you are just a regular person trying to survive the onslaught of a maniac killer breaking into their house, but the game is a retro-style text-based horror experience. You must find a way to defeat this villain through exploration and finding clever ways to fight back with household items. Now, text-based gameplay isn't a style that rears its head very often in 2023, but that's what makes this title so special. The ability to generate any suggestion enables your curiosity and allows for a seemingly boundless amount of creativity in how you play the game. The deliberately ugly aesthetics also provide Clean Suit with an uncanny and eerie atmosphere that plays into the terror of the narrative. For some, it will be nostalgic, and for others, it will be ugly and vile. Either way, it's a great time for fans of spooky gaming. Number 4, Night Trap. Okay, look, yes, this game is utterly ridiculous. It's the kind of early 90s time capsule that feels like a weird fever dream to look back on now. Night Trap's reception upon release was mixed and highly controversial due to its perceived violence. However, if you want a home invasion horror game that'll give you one hell of a memorable time, then you want Night Trap. This interactive movie tells the story of 5 girls who spend the weekend at a getaway house which, unbeknownst to them, is infested with vampires. As their sleepover turns into a cavalcade of chaos, you, as a member of the Special Control attack team, attempt to save them by setting off traps around the house and observing the events through live surveillance cameras. The game is a delightfully wacky and goofy experience that throws all the campy goodness of B-movie horror right into your face. The acting, costumes, humour and violence all have a cheap charm that makes the game a ton of fun. Additionally, the use of live action actors provides a unique edge that gives you a direct line into the innovation of 90s entertainment. Number 3, Suffer the Night. If you like the text-based gaming of Clean Suit but felt some withdrawal symptoms from a lack of first-person survival horror, then you're going to love this one. Suffer the Night takes both of these subgenres and mashes them together into a gaming experience that shouldn't work, but does. In this game, you play the role of a horror painter who lives in the mountains. One day, you're awoken by a storm and soon find that someone has dropped a floppy disk through your letterbox. Such a charming piece of nostalgia that nothing terrible could ever become of this. On the disc is a text-based adventure game, but as you play the title, you discover that a terrifying stranger is trying to get into your house. The text-based adventure is solid in its own right, and the survival horror is incredibly effective thanks to the well-designed house, tense atmosphere, and incredibly creepy antagonist. Yes, okay, it is basically the Babadook, but can you really go wrong with that? Number 2, Bug House. It should be clear from a few entries on this list that a reductive visual style means nothing when crafting a spine-tingling horror game. In fact, in many cases, a focus on cruder graphics makes for an all the more frightening product. That certainly applies to this title, as Bug House is a terrifying PS1-inspired gaming experience. You play as a small child called Christopher, who is left alone in his home one night. Unfortunately, he is forced to contend with a terrifying stalker, who makes it into his house and starts to hunt him down. Bug House doesn't change much in the formula for home invasion horror, but it does do everything exceptionally well. The exploration and use of clues help make the house feel alive, the villain is a frightening and ever-present threat, the music is solid, and the story takes you on a real ride. This game is a pure example of how excellent a subgenre title can be when you whittle it down to its basics and make sure to master every single trope. And number 1, Fears to Fathom, Home Alone. Episodic horror is the kind of thing that gets certain people foaming at the mouth with excitement, those people being folk who love getting scared. A series of games telling different frightening stories and putting players through hell is a gift to all lovers of spooky gaming, and the Fears to Fathom series started strong with this home invasion shockfest. Home Alone tells another simple story of a young boy who is obviously left home alone at night. However, he soon discovers he's in massive danger as a figure begins to appear outside the house. Part of what makes this game so frightening is how little guidance there is. You're given close to no hand-holding and are expected to figure out how to survive on your own. This makes the whole experience unbelievably tense, as each decision you make feels like a life or death choice, which it usually is. It's simple, creepy, has a gorgeous VHS film aesthetic, and will keep you up at night wondering if there's someone looking through your window. And that person is me. Have you clicked like yet? And that's the list. Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments below. Which of these games is your favourite? And of course, let us know of any other from the subgenre that we missed. Make sure you like this video or I'm going to come and get you. Woo! And also subscribe, share it with your friends, hit the notification bell and all that good stuff. Head over to WhatCulture.com for more content every day. I've been Cy for WhatCulture, and have a good week.